The ending of the future Daybreak can be confusing at first. I originally thought it was a time loop, but there's an actual canon explanation, and I'm here to break it down for you today. The Great Path of Alchemy is a picture book chronicling the Alchemist of Dawn's story. It shows the red-hooded alchemist defeating the wicked Dog King by transmuting a sun, with Hopper 1 at their side. This alchemist referred to themselves as a Kamen Rider, a title later reserved for alchemists who transform using chemicals. The Dog King is sealed behind the Door of Darkness. Gleon's early goal in the series was to release the Dog King, but was ultimately consumed by it instead. In the future Daybreak, we see an alternate future where the Dog King, after being defeated by the three Kamen Riders, travels back in time, before Kamen Riders even existed, to wreak havoc. Future Houtaro, now calling himself the Alchemist of Dawn, follows the Dog King back in time using Time Lord. He defeats the Dog King once and for all, which alters the picture book to show his victory. From the context of that ending, it seems like it's a time loop, right? Well, not exactly. Let's clarify how time travel works in Gotchard. It's not linear. Changing the past does not overwrite the future, it instead creates a new timeline. Here's how the timelines play out. Daybreak timeline. This was the first original timeline. During Leon's attack on Houtaro during Christmas, he loses an eye and will eventually see his friends get killed. After the events of the movie, Daybreak Houtaro goes back in time and defeats the Dog King for good, creating the festival timeline. After Daybreak Houtaro defeats the Dog King, he apparently stayed in the past for quite a while and lives his life with Rina, according to the writer of the show. Main timeline. This is the timeline we follow in the TV series. This second timeline branches away from Daybreak's after the future Houtaro goes back in time and saves his younger self from Cleon's attack. This Houtaro gains his own version of Fire Gotchard, signifying that the timeline has diverged from Daybreak's. The main timeline Houtaro is the one who travels to the alternate future to help Daybreak defeat Cleon and the Dog King, as proven by Kajiki's flashback in episode 44. The Festival Timeline. This new, parallel timeline follows the events of the main TV show timeline up until Houtaro goes back to the present in the end of the movie. The main difference in this timeline is that the picture book now depicts Daybreak Houtaro as the one who defeated the Dog King instead of the unnamed alchemist, though the Red Hood is still present on the cover, meaning they still existed. This Houtaro still went through the events of the movie, since he mentions he saw his future self traveling to the past, though this raises some questions that you can consider as plot holes. If the Dog King was permanently defeated, as confirmed by the crew, how would this Houtaro have access to Nijigon, since it came to existence thanks to Gigas, who is one part of the Dog King? An interviewer also stated that there are differences during the festival scene compared to the one we see in episode 44 of the show. From analyzing the scenes, we can see that in the festival timeline, Lachesis is absent at the festival, while Spanner is present. This differs from the festival scene in the main timeline, where Lachesis is there instead of Spanner. The three timeline stuff was confirmed by the sub-producer of Gotchard, Daigo Matsuura, and one of the main writers of Gotchard, Keiichi Hasegawa. So there you have it. No paradox, just three timelines. A resolution that spares Houtaro from endless suffering. Hopefully this breakdown clarifies everything and made the ending of the movie less confusing. Till next time, see ya!